Today, one egg is 250 to 300 naira. Just one egg. In 2014, Nigeria had a GDP of about $574 billion. And today, it is estimated to be slightly above $200 billion. And this is just, 9 years. Now, what they tell you is that all of this is either because the economy was already in shambles or that the previous administration was just grossly incompetent. But I will argue that what Nigeria has been dealt with in the last decade should not just be described as incompetence and just washed away as, oh well, just incompetent governance, but a crime against the Nigerian people. This level of mismanagement is not far from criminal. The fact that certain people just rode into power and completely destroyed our economy, and today these same people are at home enjoying peace and quiet. It is painful. And again, it should be seen as borderline criminal against the Nigerian people. And all of this for what? What was the crime that Nigerians committed? Simply voting in a government into office. That's the crime. And today, economic analysts will tell you that inflation is definitely not 34%, as we are told, but maybe as high as 200, even 300% or more. Nigerians don't feel safer. Healthcare is not better. Our institutions are almost completely destroyed. Our judges are frolicking freely with politicians. Electoral integrity is at its lowest. There's practically no aspect of Nigeria that we can say has significantly improved. And again, what is the crime that Nigerians committed as a people to deserve this level of depletion in our institutions and in our economy in just 9 years? These people practically ruined your country. And again, I don't think that it should be seen as just a couple of years of incompetence. Well, forget about it. To completely destroy the lives and living conditions of a people like this should be seen as a crime against the Nigerian people.
The level of incompetence in Nigeria is quite alarming. According to this guy known as Osarogie Ogbonmwan, he said the level of incompetence that has ruled Nigeria in the last decade should be seen as criminal. My correct people, them not be smarting. We all know that ever since Tinubu and Shetima became the president of Nigeria, ruling Nigeria, things have become worse. Nigerians are crying. People are no longer affording 3 square meals. Things have changed drastically. Inflation keep on rising here and there as they go by. My correct people them. Nigeria has now become a dustbin country. I know some of you will be wondering why did I call Nigeria a dustbin country. It's a dustbin country in the sense that any country that only imports without exporting any of its products automatically is a dustbin country. We only accept, we don't give out. And that is very problem. It's a very big problem to us. Imagine Nigeria can be receiving from other countries, but we cannot send our money out from Nigeria. But we can be receiving, but we cannot send our money out from Nigeria. We only import, we don't export. How do you expect a country that doesn't export to earn money? How do you expect a country that does not do business with other countries rather than they use their money to only buy? You only buy. You don't receive anything. You only buy, you import, you don't export. Then how do you do your own exchange? There is no monetary exchange in it. That is why it seems that our so-called Nigerian president, Tinubu and Shetima, keep on borrowing money to feed their peace. My correct people, they don't be smarting. Even Tinubu's message, that God Nigerians wondered how did we ever arrive at this. My correct people, them Tinubu said that there is no better president of Nigeria out there that has marketed her country, which is this Nigeria, better than him, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My correct people, they make una watch this video, waiting to hear wetin this man talk with his mouth. Ha! Wahala they say e be like bicycle.
What do I do to help the small-scale industry? The cost of funding is expensive. What do I do to get power to industrialize my country? The cost of funding is extremely expensive. The developed world need to extend these promises that you have out here today. I must salute every one of you. But support the continent. The neglect of Africa is a danger to the rest of humanity. And we have to lift one another up. We have to build an inclusive economy that takes into account the population growth. In Nigeria, I have over 250 million souls. The fight against hunger and poverty is not a matter of choice, but a matter of priority for me. Where do I get those helps? I have a very vibrant youth population, 70% below the age of 30. In schools, set up funding for their education. It's a challenge. And even if I have the fund, how do I turn it around? Reform, yes, I must. And I've embarked upon that aggressively.
It is quite obvious, my correct people, that this man known as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not prepared to be a Nigerian president. How can you tell me that you've been the best president of Nigeria that have ever marketed its country? That is not easy. This and that. That the cost is too much. This, oh my goodness. Is it how to handle the country's affairs? Since you know that you are not competent enough to run the presidency of Nigeria, as big as Nigeria is, why did you even think of contesting in the first place? According to you, you said it is your turn. Now it is your turn, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now make things right in Nigeria, you don't want to do it. And you think that manna will fall from above? Or do you, anyway, Sha, I don't just talk to him. Make una listen to wetin this man talk, my correct people dem. Because the thing wey dey happen for Nigeria, it is too much. It is too much. This man really blast Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ha! Make una watch this man, no be small thing o.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So now you have that. You remember that about 12 years ago, the concept of I need my own attack dog came into the presidency. A president does not need an attack dog. The Shagari government was more attacked than any other government. Right. More than Shagari. Babangida was even a military leader. The media was shredding him. You see, is an indication of maturity that you allow the thing to go on, and then when your spokesperson comes, people are compelled to pay attention. And when you also have a spokesperson who is not naturally offensive, who by the time he leaves, you can isolate A, B, C, D things he said. The challenge with the crowd, the dancing team he has brought out is this. They are all so busy entertaining that they are distracting the audience, so there's nobody to watch. Right. They're also eager to say, oh, you know, the president did this. Oh, don't forget the purpose of this. You see, it becomes information dissemination, not communication, not advocacy. And then you go, you know, Mr. President, I've already told them, you know, they are not appreciating this thing you did. No. What is the image? Even when you don't understand the president, the dignity of those working with him compels you to exercise some caution.
Do you think President Tinubu is in charge here in terms of choosing who should speak for him?
I think I would rather advise him on how to solve this problem that he has put himself in now. Bayo Ononuga leads and carries a title that makes it clear that he's leading. Every other person takes second step and get titles that let them understand that this is the boss. You know why? Because somebody has to be responsible for getting the welfare for them to be able to even do the job, the slush fund and managing it. Somebody has to be responsible for measuring to see that whether performance indicators are met. Right. Somebody has to be responsible whether the tone of voice is appropriate. Somebody has to be responsible to determine whether we're going to respond to this person or we're not going to respond to this person. That's on one side. Yeah. The other thing is, with due respect to the president, if you cannot put together a simple thing like a communication team, which of them would be in cabinet to understand the directive principles of your government? All three? Okay, if you are going abroad and you have to go some of these trips, which of them goes with you as a rule? The Prime Minister of India was here a couple of days ago. While he was in Nigeria, you can see what his com teams were doing. They were already generating the traction of the stories and all that. It was already going haywire. What were our own Humpty
All the
Dumpty sat.
traits,
What were they doing? Busy taking picture. One person was running ahead, breaking protocols to jump in front of them. We're just disgracing ourselves. If you see I'm a little bit agitated, you know why? I'm agitated because you see, when your brother fails,
You fail.
you have failed.
Right.
Today now, the kind of bragging right people like us used to have when people like General Buhari or any other person was on the table as Yoruba men is all but gone. Because on the same, look at what was Buhari's media like. He had Femi additional head. He had Garba Shehu, special assistant, was the next. And there were a lot of speaking head. He had a Buhari media team that people like Akishuju were running. These guys are just not getting it right. And because they think that they are dandy, they think that they